watching the Herald-Tribune Game of the Week.
The stakes will be a lot higher Friday night when Palmetto hooks up with North Port. It'll be the first district matchup for both teams. If you don't know what district play entails, it decides who goes on to the playoffs. Now, neither of these teams have too much of a history, but they're both coming off winning games last week. Palmetto, after losing its first two games, beat Clearwater Countryside behind the running back Josh Hicks. And Northport jumped off to a 27-0 lead against Miami Palmetto Ridge. Saw the game tied up, but managed to win in double overtime. So it should be interesting to see what happens. The winner takes a 1-0 lead in district play with a couple more games to follow. Seems like the sophomore Sims is developing a nice pocket presence. What do you see from that team when you watch them on film?
They're very explosive offensively. They're really a good football team offensively and defensively as well. But offensively, they put points up against anybody. Everybody they've played, whether it's Charlotte, who's a perennial powerhouse every year, anybody they've played, they've scored, and they feel confident. And that's part of offensive football too, is confidence. So, we're concerned about the tailback, the quarterback, the receiver. I mean, they got some weapons around there, and they got an offensive line to get after you. So. We got to be sound, in terms of our technique and our scheme and play assignment football.
Josh, the team, you lost your first two games, had some turnovers. Last week you cut back on the turnovers, but more importantly, it seems like you were even more of a focal point of the offense running the ball. Do you feel that way, that going forward you may get the rock even more than you had been before?
I'm not pretty sure, but you never know what the schemes that we run. I'm not spilling any beans or nothing.
Do you expect to see a lot of Hicks this week, and what are you doing to prepare for that guy?
We had a great challenge last week at Palmetto Ridge. They had a running back that was 6'2", 215 pounds that ran the ball downhill. We had trouble with it in the third quarter, kind of tightened down in the fourth quarter again, and then, so it's not like we haven't seen good running backs. We know exactly what we need to do. It's just we got to execute a lot better than we have in the past, like against Charlotte and also against Palmetto Ridge. We got to be able to execute 4 quarters, and that's, we've been preaching to the kids right now. We got to play 4 quarters. We can't play 3, we can't play 2. We've been priding on trying to win the fourth quarter, but at the same point, we can't come out of halftime and go into slow motion like we have.
Just talk about what you've seen on film. Have you seen anything from Palmetto's defense? They lost their first 2 games. They come back and won last week. When you look at their defense, do you see anything that you haven't seen already? Do you see anything that maybe you can exploit without maybe giving away some secrets?
A lot of high school teams kind of run the same thing. They try to stop the run, so we've got a good game plan for this week.
On another subject, has Phil or Chris given you any advice, being your uncle and your nephew?
No, they're not my uncle and nephew.
Really?
Yeah,
I guess we got some wrong information. You are going to Rutgers, right? Have you verbally committed to Rutgers? Now, we heard that they're going to get rid of the football program. Is that true?
I'm not really sure about that. I hope not.